sorry I got off live earlier. Uh, Started raining outside, so if you wondering why I got off quick, started raining, so I had to get off my phone. I didn't want my phone to get wet. But continue my conversation about self control. People have triggers. People have things that um, they can't control. Uh, you know, a lot of people, a lot of religious people, they say, "Oh, you don't need therapy." How you doing, Hockey King? Yeah, sorry, started raining outside, so I had to get off. But people, people they don't know, people's traumas. They don't know what people go through. A lot of people just look from the outside, and that's natural to I feel that's natural to uh, for some people to be judgmental towards people looking from the outside in. You know, we may look at somebody else's situation, especially because of social media, and we may be very judgmental because we don't know the full spectrum of why people act the way they act or why people are triggered. You know, you never know what people go through, and that's why I'm so careful of what I say to people because you just don't know what people's triggers is. There's a lot of people that's out here uh, that psychologically go through things. And I don't think I like the fact that a lot of religious people they feel like, oh, that let God handle it. You don't need therapy. You just need Jesus. But I think, I think people shouldn't avoid therapy if they really need it. Sometimes I think about my own self. Eventually, I made, I don't think therapy is a bad thing. Therapy is not a bad thing. In life, we go through so many issues. We go through so many thoughts in our mind, that we need someone from the outside to tell us how we can handle certain thoughts and situations because people that study these things, people that are therapists, they go to school to analyze different situations and how they resolved it. Experimentation, life is all about experimentation, especially in the mental field. You know, you know, a lot of these people are they're quick to give you medication for certain uh, acts or the way people act, behaviors, but we don't. I think a lot of people don't go through to the root of a situation, and so yeah, you just people just gotta learn self control at the same time, how to handle the way they feel, and so that's what I want to talk about, you know, having self control, you know, just trying to make yourself better, you know, the next time, learn from your mistakes, learn from the way you handle traumas in the past or triggers in the past, realizing a different approach to certain things that we go through. And so, yeah, we just have to lean on those things. We have to figure out where we should go in life and how we deal with those situations in life you know and so yeah, again, appreciate y'all for watching. Sorry I had to cut it short. This is a continuation of what I was talking about when I was outside. Started raining earlier, but again, appreciate y'all for tuning in. This might be kind of short because I only see one person here right now. uh, But learning self control is very important. Learning self control is very important in life. That we try to program ourselves to really control ourselves so we can handle everyday situations. Uh, I try myself daily to learn how to handle unexpected situations. I think I have a hard time dealing with that, unexpected situations, and that can be that can be a problem. Unexpected situations, how to handle it. I'm still learning that every day because those things happen. We can't control it, especially if it's in the out, from the outside, you know, outside of the people that you're around every day. How you doing, Spear Edits? But we just gotta learn self control, how to handle situations in the right way, um, in order for us to be better people in life. We have to learn how to handle things in a good manner. How you doing, Karma 56? But I feel like we just gotta learn how to have self control, how to handle our triggers, how to cope with our traumas. Because every trauma has a root, every behavior has a root to it. You know, and just try to move on in life and really uh, handle situations in a better, handle it better. And if you want to contribute to this conversation, feel free to. How you doing? Stay solo. Conversate. That's true. Yeah, I think we become better people when we have more self control of ourselves. You know, you can't be in a certain situation where you're acting unprofessional. You don't know how to handle the situation in an appropriate manner, and sometimes triggers can get us out of our character very quick. Very quick. And so, you know, learn self control, learn how to handle things. Um, Even talking to myself, certain situations, it's new. A lot of situations I've experienced, it's new, you know, and I learn every day how to handle new situations. And like I said, that's maybe a problem I have is handling unexpected situations. And I know a lot of us deal with that. You know, you're fearful of unexpected things happening in your life, and you're wondering why these things happen. You know, and your religious people, like I said, they may be against therapy, but a lot of people may need therapy in order to deal with situations because this is a new day and time. These young people deal with different situations than when I was young. You know, and we got to learn how to cope with that. There's a lot of parents these days that are not ready to be parents. And that's the truth. And these kids deal with different things in life. You know, Parents are dealing with things in life, dealing with relationships, dealing with so many different things in life, and we gotta learn how to deal with it. But if you want to say anything about self control, feel free to, and I'll read your comment. Appreciate y'all for being in here. Please subscribe. Uh, my Cash App is on my page, so if you want to send us a Cash App, support this channel. Feel free to. Not pressuring anybody, but if you want to support, feel free to support. How you doing, Cyrus Austin? Appreciate you for being in here. But if you want to talk about what I'm talking about, feel free to leave a comment. Just talking about self-control, learning self-control. All of us have triggers. Appreciate you, Hockey King, for putting my Cash App. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Yeah, that's my Cash App, $ Open Mind Convo. Again, appreciate y'all for being in here. But this learning self-control is very important in life. We all have our triggers, we all have our traumas, big or small. And we, just learn how to cope with them. But again, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all for watching. Appreciate y'all always supporting. Like I said, this week may be my last week. I can really do videos in the morning. Got a new opportunity, job. And so, I won't be able to do videos like this in the morning, but try to do, videos in the evening on this channel. But please support this channel. I'm gonna try to continue to keep this channel going. But again, appreciate y'all for watching. Appreciate y'all for being in here. I subscribe. You're like, appreciate you for subscribing. Yeah, it's a lot of things going on in the YouTube world. I'm not the type to follow trends on YouTube. Nowadays everybody's doing this struggle content. You can support me or not. You can support me or not. But I'm here to talk to you guys, build a community. Build a community. Just talk about everyday situations. We all deal with things. A lot of things I talk about on this channel is things I've seen or things I go through, or where I'm at in life. Whether it be religion, current events, just motivation. Sometimes I need motivation, and talking to you guys is therapy for me. Talking to you guys on my thoughts and what I feel, and seeing what y'all say about the situation. And so again, appreciate y'all for being in here, and appreciate y'all for subscribing. Like I said, if you want to support this channel, Hockey King got my Cash App in the chat. This live is so much better than the other gaming. Appreciate you. Appreciate y'all for being in here. But yeah, that's what I want to talk about today. Self-control. Learning how to deal with your own. Your triggers. What your weaknesses. What your strengths are. And I pray that your weaknesses becomes your strengths. And so again, appreciate y'all for watching. Until next time, peace.